A new company with a lot of history, GIS Engineering has rapidly grown its brand around an experienced team of professionals. GIS Engineering is a full-service planning, engineering, procurement, and construction management company specializing in coastal protection and restoration, upstream and downstream industrial, and transportation infrastructure projects. Putting people first, GIS Engineering, a new company with a lot of history.
Hey everybody, welcome into Going Public. I am Harry McCullough. This week we talk South Lafourche Levee District with their Executive Director, Mr. Nicholas Mathern. So thanks so much for being with us, man. We appreciate it. I'm glad we're not talking storms, especially one that's out in Jamaica right now and headed towards Cuba.
Absolutely.
It's been a great year for us, and I'm sure you guys got a lot of work done this year.
You're right, we did. We had not as much of a drought as we did, say, at the end of 2023, but we were able to get a lot of work in during the dry parts of, especially the summertime. But yeah, like you said, we had really nothing to write home about in terms of storm. We had a couple heavier rainfalls here and there that we were able to pump out, but in terms of actual hurricanes, we are coming into November, which is the last month of the Atlantic hurricane season, and you know I'm really proud of our guys and the work that we've done to keep the levees in the great shape that they're in, and we're going to continue to construct what we can and keep building higher,
keep going
stronger.
Higher, yeah. Yeah, you'd like to say, hey, yeah, our work's done. We didn't use it this year that much, so we're done. But it's never that way. It's just, how can we get better and better?
Right, and at the end of September, we had the new commander of the New Orleans District of the Corps of Engineers, Colonel Scotty Otan, originally a Houma native who did move out of state in high school, but because he says that's always everyone's favorite question as well. From Houma, where'd you go to high school? But he was the oil field times in the 80s, and so they moved to Alabama for him to finish up high school. But now that he's back in Louisiana, it's been great to have someone in such an influential position to manage and move our local projects forward, who understands, not just because he has family here or because it's where his roots are, but because he understands economically, culturally, regionally, the national importance of our area, that it's not just us trying to protect people's homes, which is obviously an incredible thing to do, that we need to do, but because of the importance of where we live, the importance of the work that our residents do, that our businesses take on every day, not just to our own region, not even just to the state, but to the entire nation. He understands that and is trying to be have the foresight to think, well, this is how we've done things in the past, how we've looked at benefits of projects in the past, but it's sometimes it's ridiculous in the ways that the Corps of Engineers values projects, puts benefits to the areas that they protect more than other places. I know, especially like in South Lafourche, our population is about 20,000. Okay, well, some in other parts of the country might say, well, why are you spending that much money for 20,000 people? But what do those 20,000 people produce? What does that 20,000 person area mean to this country, right? You look at Port Fourchon, helping out a fifth of the nation's oil and gas. It comes through or is serviced by Port Fourchon. The only way to get to Port Fourchon by land is to come through South Lafourche. That's what we mean to the nation. The Louisiana Offshore Oil Port has their Clovelly gas storage facility inside of our levee system. And that's what we mean to the nation. You know, people in Iowa maybe only care about Iowa corn most of the time, but if something would happen to the South Lafourche community, everybody in the country would start to care about South Lafourche, right? And so our new district commander at the Corps of Engineers in New Orleans understands that. He came down to visit at the end of September. We had a lot of great conversations about the history of our system, which he was already very well versed on. I was very impressed with him and his knowledge that he was able to retain. Obviously, his local team briefs him right before he comes in, but he was able to kind of vocalize a lot of the same things that we've said for decades now, and the importance of what we're doing, not throwing stones at the quote unquote mistakes that we've made in the eyes of the Corps of Engineers, not always getting all of the permits that we needed to get by federal law, but understanding that, you know, look, that was in the past. It doesn't matter anymore, right? for better or worse, hindsight's always 20/20. But the important thing is you didn't flood for Ida, right? Maybe we didn't do things by the book all the time. It doesn't matter. We're still here. Right. And he understands that, appreciates that, respects that. And now the conversation is, okay, whether it was right or wrong, doesn't matter. Where are we and how do we move forward? And that's a conversation that we've had not only locally with the Corps of Engineers in New Orleans, but every time we go up to Washington to meet with our congressional delegates, to meet with the highest ranking civilians and top brass at the Corps of Engineers when we meet with them at Corps of Engineers headquarters in New Orleans. That's always the conversation that, look, we've done a lot of great work and we're proud of what we've done and we've proven that it works, but is it enough? And that's always the biggest question. You know, like we alluded to at the beginning of the conversation, you know, we're always going to keep building higher, always building stronger. Is it ever going to be enough? And I think you look at like what Katrina did to Pass Christian, and well, maybe it's not enough. You know, looking at Morganza to the Gulf on either side of us, and what our colleagues in the Terrebonne Conservation and Levee District are doing, and what the North Lafourche Levee District is doing as part of the other pieces of Morganza, and saying, well, they're authorized to say where they tie into our system 22.5 feet. And where it ties in our system, we're only authorized to about 9.6 feet. Right? We're at about 16 feet in reality because we've gone above our authorized elevations. But when you're talking about what is our actual vulnerability? What is our actual risk? That's what we want to know. And that's what we haven't had answered since 1965. And the math has gotten better. The science has gotten better. Our understanding has gotten better. The models have gotten better. And so that's what we're trying to work with the Corps of Engineers right now to do, is to say, can you come in as the federal government the way you did with our neighbors and say, look, we've redone the math since 1965, and here's what your actual risk is. And then that's able to start the conversation moving forward of, all right, is there any sense of Congress that, yes, we do believe that South Lafourche is important enough to the nation that we want to put more money into it? Or do we just have to go ahead with our own funds and take care of ourselves?
I mean, you were saving money every time. Every time we stopped some, and really you got a 100-year storm in Ida and you held up. So it does show a little bit. All right, we'll take a look at some of your borrow pits and some of the different stuff you're working on when we come back right here on Going Public.
A new company with a lot of history, GIS Engineering has rapidly grown its brand around an experienced team of professionals. GIS Engineering is a full-service planning, engineering, procurement, and construction management company specializing in coastal protection and restoration, upstream and downstream industrial, and transportation infrastructure projects. Putting people first, GIS Engineering, a new company with a lot of history.
Sea Level Construction is a heavy civil contractor that provides turnkey services for the industrial and marine industries. From building large-scale infrastructure to installing the foundation for expansion projects, Sea Level and its family of companies offer a wide range of capabilities, including driven piles, drill deep foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, marine construction, barge maintenance and repair, site work development, heavy equipment repair services, and electrical services. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundations for your next big project.
Located at 5004 Imperial Drive in Houma, April and Iris is a must-see for those looking for exquisite home decor and gifts. Owned by April Boudreau, along with her talented design team, there is no lack of detail to enhance your shopping experience. April and Iris has all your decor needs.
Come in today and let us help you complete your design vision. It's what we do.
April and Iris, Houma's newest home interior and gift store, where decor and inspiration meet and fulfill all your design needs.
Everybody, welcome back to Going Public. Harry McCullough here. We're speaking with Nicholas Mathern, Executive Director of the South Lafourche Levee District. So let's get into some of the slides. We'll start with Section E North.
Sure. Like we were speaking just before the break, we're not slowing down anytime soon. And so one of the places that we've been concentrating some of our equipment and effort and funding at partnering with the state has been this section in cutoff around the Clovelly Farms area between our community and Little Lake. And this is what we call Section E North, or a portion of Section E North. E-North actually goes all the way around the Cloverleaf Farms area. We are improving this north-south run on the eastern side of the farm here. The south portion of this section of the levee is where we saw a little bit of overtopping for Hurricane Ida. So this has definitely been a priority area for us to elevate since that time. So we are right now working with local contractors to stockpile material from these offsite borrow pits and then trucking that material along that levee section and then pushing it into.
That levee ties in right there? Or is that just that wall on north-south?
That levee is part of our whole 48-mile system. So we're tackling that one little couple-mile run there. Right. And then
it makes, I guess, a couple of turns there, right?
Right. There's a little S curve in the middle there. But yeah, the work on this is mostly being funded by the Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority from the state. And we're pitching in a little bit of funding to do the actual shaping of the material after it's stockpiled.
And how high you want to get right now?
We're getting up to 14 feet in elevation. We were about at 12 feet before. And so we're trying to match the work that we just did on the south side.
But you got to fix, that's where you had a little topping there.
Right. And so the crown of the levee, what we call the highest part there, is at the elevation. It's at 14 feet already. So the last bit of work that we're doing right now is on the protected side berm and the slope on the inside of that portion of the levee. We hope to have that project completed by the end of December and then move on. We're already starting preliminary design and permitting, moving around to the northern part of that area of the levee around the farm in the future.
So again, more the E-North as we take looks like another shot of that, but a little different angle.
Yeah, this is one of the offsite borrow pits where we're pulling all that material from and then trucking it along. You can see the construction happening on the protected side there. Just to the north, that's a lot of that. It was pretty healthy marsh prior to Ida. Ida did a number on it for sure, and so it's definitely become a priority area. I know I was just speaking with some representatives from CPRA today that they're looking to fund a project to help reestablish some of that marsh along the northwest rim of Little Lake. And because if you build it, they will come scenario, that because CPRA has invested money there, now the QUIPA program, the Coastal Wetlands Planning, Protection, and Restoration Act, has also started to look at that area for additional projects in the future.
That's good. And then we got a picture of a truck from E-North, but that's showing you, I guess, where you take it from the borrow pits and move it over there, right?
Right. So that's the video of the actual construction activities where the materials being stockpiled in place and then moved along, being shaped into the final levee section there by an excavator, and then final grading done by a bulldozer.
And you can see how tall that levee is that's a big old truck, and it's
right. And a lot of people don't think about it, but this area is all below sea level. And so
you got to start at minus.
Right. And so you think about it, I believe this area is maybe 2 feet below. So when we're talking about 14-foot elevation really levee, now we were talking about when you're standing on the ground, 16 feet worth of levee. And so when you start getting, especially into the more southern parts of our system where you get 17, 18 feet, but you're 4 feet below, well, now we've got over 20 feet of levee construction that's happening.
Wow, so, I never really thought about that. But I guess, we're always starting from negatives around here.
Right. And so when I first got into the job, I was, kind of going around to different luncheons and giving presentations at, Chamber of Commerce and everything. And I was trying to put it in an easier perspective for people to think about. And in the northern parts where we have 13 feet, that's about, 2 refrigerators high. Then when we get down to the lower parts of the system, I said it was about 2.5 Shaquille O'Neal's high. So it starts to put it in perspective, if you can think about someone who's over 7 feet, and we're starting to talk about 20 feet, that's a high levee. That's protecting our people down there. So.
All right, looks like another drone shot here of E-North, and again, seeing that curve there.
Right, so this is, just showing still images of the progress of that project. So we can flip through these kind of quickly. It's all a lot of the same of what we saw, but so that project's coming along well, and we're ready to be done and move on to the next section further north. But
so the next section is D-North.
The next section, sure, D-North, that This is, we mentioned the Louisiana offshore oil port a little earlier, and then the South Lafourche airport there that's operated by Port Fourchon. So this is one section of the levee where the levee actually has the road of the loop facility that crosses over the levee. In the past several years, we've had to put out what we call HESCO baskets, these temporary flood protection measures.
It's a shame that we're all familiar with those HESCO baskets.
Right. Yeah. And so this section that we can look at after the break is a project we just completed that we instead of putting out those HESCO baskets every year, we've gotten with the state to get some additional funding and put our own funding in to lift that road for well into the future, right? So much higher than the levee on either side, but planning for the future.
That temporary stuff works, but it's temporary.
Right.
All right. We'll take another break. We'll be right back. We're going public right after this.
A new company with a lot of history, GIS Engineering has rapidly grown its brand around an experienced team of professionals. GIS Engineering is a full-service planning, engineering, procurement, and construction management company specializing in coastal protection and restoration, upstream and downstream industrial, and transportation infrastructure projects. Putting people first, GIS Engineering, a new company with a lot of history.
Located at 5004 Imperial Drive in Houma, April and Iris is a must-see for those looking for exquisite home decor and gifts. Owned by April Boudreau, along with her talented design team, there is no lack of detail to enhance your shopping experience. April and Iris has all your decor needs.
Come in today and let us help you complete your design vision. It's what we do.
April and Iris, Houma's newest home interior and gift store, where decor and inspiration meet and fulfill all your design needs.
In South Louisiana, storms are a way of life. Every storm poses a different threat, whether from flooding or hurricane-force winds. At All South Consulting Engineers, we help protect our people from these disasters. Before a storm, we work with our leaders to prevent catastrophic damage. After the storm, we help get the resources needed for rebuilding. We have helped our cities, parishes, and school boards recover over $2 billion to rebuild our community. We'll be here for the next one.
Terrebonne Parish School District is now hiring bus drivers. A valid CDL is required. If you don't have a CDL, we have paid training available. You must be able to pass a medical health exam and a drug test. Our salary range is very competitive with similar jobs starting at $26 per hour. Benefits include free health insurance and retirement. Contact the TPSD Transportation Office at 876-7400 or apply online at www.tpsd.org.
Everybody, welcome back to Going Public, our final segment with the Executive Director of the South Lafourche Levee District, Mr. Nicholas Mathern. Let's pick it up with we were talking about, so the loop is right there. You guys made a road over it, so we'll pick up there.
Right, so the loop road on the facility goes over our levee, and historically we've had to deploy HESCO baskets anytime we were expecting storm surge to go over the levee there. So what we've done recently, we just completed it last month, is we've raised that section of the loop road so that we can, for the foreseeable future, not have to worry about deploying any kind of HESCO baskets.
Until we go up to 25.
Right? So here we've gone, it was at about 10 feet in elevation, and the levees on either side are about 14 feet in elevation. And so we've had to put, one row of HESCO baskets to match the elevation. Here we've gone up to plus 18 feet. So we're 4 feet above where the levee is currently with this new road elevation. And so moving forward, we're now planning and in the design phases of getting the levee on either side of there to a plus 16 foot in elevation. And so
this is real life, or this
is real life. So this is just a couple weeks ago. That's a drone shot of the completed project. So it's done. Some contractors off site, and that road is completely open back for Loop's operations to continue as normal.
Nice. So the Brenton Canal Weir is on the...
Sure. So this is a project we've talked about in the past. A little update on it, though. So this is immediately south of South Lafourche High School. This is the old Brenton Canal that historically was connected to Bayou Lafourche, and sometime in the past was plugged up with an earthen plug. And so what we've done is we've removed that plug and we've installed this structure. You can see the 4 bays that we have here that we can control those doors that are under the water. And so like a traditional sluice gate would have a culvert that has a gate that you can raise and lower. But here the gates work in the opposite direction, where the gates, when it's closed, are up, and then to open the gates, we lower them. The reason for that is that if we would have the gates opening from the bottom, if you'd have a log or anything else that would jam underneath, we'd have no way of seeing it or clearing it safely. So having this from the top gives us the opportunity to not only be able to monitor any kind of jams or obstructions more easily, but it also allows us to set the tops of those weir gates at whatever elevation we feel we want to target. And then anytime the bayou would naturally just go over that elevation, the water would automatically go towards the back. At the other end of Brenton Canal, we have a pump station that we operate and maintain on a regular basis, and that we use for pumping out rainwater. But now we have the ability to, with this structure in place and that pump station, if the water in the bayou gets a little too high, we have the ability to lower the water in Bayou Lafourche by about a half a foot over a 24-hour period. And when you're living in the town of Golden Meadow and we're playing a game of inches, anytime we see the water getting over half a foot in elevation above sea level, we'll start seeing water on the roads, going under the highway, especially on the 308 side, getting through the culverts and into people's ditches and yards. And so having this extra opportunity to get water out of the bayou quickly definitely gives us a lot of time to be able to play with.
Yeah, that's a great way to help, and that's going to help a lot of people, like say along 308 specifically.
Right.
So the Ted Gisclair Lock in La Rose.
Well, in the same vein of trying to control the water in the bayou, so at the intersection of the Intracoastal Canal and Bayou Lafourche, this is at the very northern end of our system. We currently have the La Rose Ted Gisclair floodgate right in front of Holy Rosary School, where I grew up going. And the idea here is that when the water in the Intracoastal, as you can see, a kind of scary bit of footage here, is too high, much more above the elevation of the water in Bayou Lafourche, then we have to shut this gate down. Originally, this gate in La Rose and the floodgate in Golden Meadow were only intended to be used when a storm was threatening our community. It would stay open all the rest of the year, except for when a storm was coming our way, and then we'd shut them down. Because of subsidence, because of tidal issues, we now have to keep these gates closed about 60% of the year. And which, for flooding purposes, it's fine, we can handle it, but like you see in this video, we still have commerce that needs to happen. Now, this video here, we had a 1.5 foot differential between the inside and the outside. So the water in the Intracoastal was 1.5 foot higher than the water in Bayou Lafourche. So there we had to go to only opening once every 24 hours. Typically when we have the gate shut, we like to open it 6 times a day on a set schedule. All of our captains know what that schedule is. If anybody needs to know, you're not a regular, vessel captain going up and down Bayou Lafourche, you definitely look at our Facebook page. You can see those scheduled openings. But we try to keep traffic going 6 times a day. When we have this kind of a situation, we have to only open it once every 24 hours. But when we do, you have 6 or 7 vessels, maybe 11 vessels at the time that video was taken. We had 11 vessels trying to come in and out. We have to keep it open for about a half an hour.
And that's where all that water was.
And all this, so we have 1.5 foot of water coming into our system for a half an hour. Then we have the entire rest of the day that our guys have to be at the weir and pump station and our siphon in Golden Meadow and pumping all that water out. From? So that water coming from high water in the Gulf that comes up the Intracoastal and then makes its way around into.
Okay, so it's coming that way.
Right. So to combat that, we are in the final stages of getting the last bit of funding from FEMA to construct a lock system, just like we have in Golden Meadow. Just putting another floodgate. We're talking about 1.5 foot, right? We're not talking about 10 or more feet like at the Port Allen lock in Baton Rouge, right, coming off of the river. So we can handle that little bit of water. So that project, we can look for that to start construction sometime next year.
Nice. Looking forward to it. Well, man, I appreciate the updates. Thanks so much, Nick.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back. That is Going Public. I'm Harry McCullough. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Sea Level Construction is a heavy civil contractor that provides turnkey services for the industrial and marine industries. From building large-scale infrastructure to installing the foundation for expansion projects, Sea Level and its family of companies offer a wide range of capabilities including driven piles, drilled deep foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, marine construction, barge maintenance and repair, site work development, heavy equipment repair services, and electrical services. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundations for your next big project.